What's up everyone, it's Kadi with MoneyVest. So in this video, we are going to be talking about ENPH stock. A lot of you have been asking for an update on this company. So I figured I'd do a complete breakdown and give you guys an update on where we're at with ENPH. It's starting to form a little bit of an ascending triangle with a triple top resistance that we just can't seem to break out over 138. So it's constantly getting rejected at those prices. So I'm going to break everything down. As always, if you enjoy this video, find it helpful, make sure that you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. And again, links to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below. We currently do have the 51% discount on the beta launch access. So July 8th is going to be the date when all the existing members will have access to our MoneyVest platform. So this is exactly what the platform looks like, where you can plot a lot of different metrics on the visual charts here and also use fundamental analysis, take a look at analyst estimates for every single company, also take a look at ratios, financial statements, as well as analyzer. In other words, our financial calculators, including discounted cash flow and discounted earnings multiple model as well. So again, link's going to be down below. We'll love to have you on board. And there is a 51% discount right now. This is the biggest discount we've ever given. And this is a special price that you'll be locked in forever, for life. And with whatever features and new tools and functionality that we launch, you will not have to worry about it because you'll be locked at this discounted rate forever. So about a few more spots left, and it's valid until July 8th. Link's going to be down below. So first things first, let's talk a little bit about the company's numbers. And before we get there, actually, let's go over the technical analysis very quickly. So you'll notice that ENPH once again getting rejected at 138, 139. So last week when we got the inflation numbers, they came in a little bit better than what the expectations were. We had a beat on all four accounts. Then we had the Jerome Powell speech. And after that, of course, we started to see a bit of a pullback on ENPH, 3 consecutive red days in a row for this company. So there is a massive resistance here at close to $138 to $140. As you can see that we have gotten rejected here not once, but twice. And then, of course, 3 times more recently. So there is a lot of supply sitting at $138 to $140 and a massive amount of support sitting at low 100s for ENPH. So inside this green rectangle as well for the company. Now coming over to some of the fundamentals. So if you take a look at the overall revenues for the business, again, we've seen a very nice consistent growth in terms of both revenues and EPS. You'll notice that 2023 ENPH did just over $2.2, almost $2.3 billion. But the main reason why ENPH has been selling off is because of the guidance and the softening in demand, inventory buildup, and all the factors resulting in lower sales and lower profitability in 2024. So you'll notice that 2024 revenue is expected to drop significantly to $1.5 billion and then of course accelerate back again starting 2025. If I give you a more real picture, if you take a look at the quarterly numbers, you can see how quickly revenues declined. In the first quarter of 24, the company reported revenues of just over $260 million, and then it's down significantly from the first quarter last year of $726 million, right? So that's about a 50% decline, more than 50% decline for revenues on a year-over-year basis, let alone the profitability, which also turned into a loss. This is on a non-GAAP basis, but on a GAAP basis, the company actually generated a loss for the quarter, right? So in the first quarter 24, you can see net income was actually a net loss of $16 million and net margins were negative 6% for the business as well. But there is a silver lining, and that is that if we start to see interest rates, right? So there is a big if interest rates start to come down, which many analysts and many people are expecting that it will, then of course we could see acceleration in demand for renewable energy, microinverters, solar panels, all those things once again come back into the market. And that's exactly why they're expected to start accelerating once again in the rest of 2024 going into 2025. So the thing is that their worst quarter, it's possible that it's already behind us. And again, it's a big if, right? It's possible that ENPH's worst quarter is already behind us, and now moving forward, we possibly see that acceleration. Once again, even though we're going to see quarter over quarter increases, year over year is still going to be huge declines because second quarter estimates at 310 million, and from same time last year it was 711 million. So once again, over a 50% decline on a year over year basis, and also for earnings per share. So while the worst is behind us, while it's possible that ENPH now starts accelerating back again in terms of quarter-over-quarter change, year-over-year numbers are still going to be comping over some very strong numbers from last year, and as a result, it's possible that it's not going to be good growth, let alone it's going to most likely be a decline on a year-over-year basis. But the silver lining really is the future, and that is 2025 and beyond. And that is when the growth story starts to come back into the play. And really, if you come take a look at the earnings expectations for ENPH, it's expected to go from $2.83 all the way to back up to over $6 to a new all-time high by 2027. That's over a 30% compounded annual growth rate. Now, Quintet Private Bank of Europe has $17.5 million worth of stock position in ENPH. So you'll notice that it actually grew its position in ENPH by 33% in the fourth quarter, according to its most recent filing. And the firm owned 133,000 shares of the company and buying an additional 33,500 shares during the period. And ENPH accounts approximately 1.1% of the investment portfolio. So again, a very, very small holding, but again, just goes to show that they are increasing their position by 33%. And more importantly, a lot of other hedge funds and institutional investors also added more ENPH. So for example, Bailey Gifford and Co. Increased their share count by over 387,000% by now owning over 4 million shares worth over $500 million after purchasing another 4 million shares during the period. The Northern Trust Group increased its shares in ENPH by 0.3%. Again, not a huge increase, but now owns over 1.3 million shares worth over $180 million, purchasing just under 4,000 shares during the period. And then in the fourth quarter, Norge Bank, so that is also one of the biggest banks in Norway, having ENPH worth almost $150 million. And then Schroeder Investment Management also growing its shares in ENPH by 3.3% in the third quarter. And Schroeder Investment Management now owns 1.1 million shares worth over $135 million. So there's been a lot of increases in the amount of institutional hedge fund involvement here. And there was another really interesting article that now ENPH is largely owned by institutional shareholders who own 79% of the company. With 79% ownership, ENPH Energy boasts a strong institutional backing. Now, this is both pro and a con. Pro because there is institutional involvement, meaning big money and whales are actually buying it, or they are in the stock. And that is also a con, because if they start selling, the selling pressure could only accelerate to the downside. But really, the bottom line is that they need to see some more upside. They need to see more progress. They need to see more profits and more growth in order for ENPH to finally break out from this ascending triangle. And again, this right here is the huge resistance that it struggles to break out of. That's going to be sitting in the 140s at the moment. So coming back over to the technical analysis, we'll keep a close eye at this support in the low 100s. I doubt that ENPH is going to come back to that level. It's possible that we come back up to over 130, kind of retest that resistance once again, and then of course eventually break out to the upside with the next target up to as much as $150 a share. Now, if you simply take into account the numbers from this year, so in 2024, if the actual net income is going to be $385 million on a non-GAAP basis. So I plug that number in. I give them a 25% growth rate for the next 5 years, because the growth rate is actually going to be 30% compounded annually for the next 4 years. But I'm being a more conservative here, 25% growth, 25 times PE multiple, 12% discount rate, 10% margin of safety, and no share buyback and no share dilution. We've got a future price target of $216 with a fair value of $110, which is just about 12% away from where it's at the moment. And of course, 110 is going to be somewhere around over here. Not exactly in the low 100s, but of course, closer to inside this green rectangle once again. So this is where we are. We're starting to see some selling pressure from the L3 banker oscillator. And then, of course, we did have some institutional involvement here back in April 26th. And, of course, since then, the price actually did rally over 40%. So those right there are going to be some key areas of support and resistance for ENPH. As always, if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And again, links to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below if you want to access this platform and want to be the first people to test it out, give us feedback. Link's going to be down below. You'll be locked in for this special pricing forever with limited spots left. Link's going to be down below. As always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.